Hello, everyone, and welcome to our story, Conversations with PhilDev. Our guest for today is Paolo Bugayong, co-founder and CEO of AIDE App. AIDE was founded in 2016 by Paolo and his siblings Pamela and Patrick. Ahead of today's climate, AIDE serves as a platform for patients and non-emergency medical care professionals to provide patients accessible medical attention. AIDE received funding from Ayala Healthcare Holdings in 2018. Welcome, Paolo.
Thank you for having me, guys. Nice to get on a call with you.
And we're so excited to, get this interview going. So I just wanted to, go back to where it all began. Tell us the beginning of your journey as an entrepreneur. But basically, we can start with, is being an entrepreneur something you had always wanted to do?
So yes, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. So my father-in-law is really a businessman. And I told him back then I wanted to create my own business, and I wanted to create an organization that will, just like any business, will be profitable, right? My dad, being an investment banker, told me that it's also important that you gain your network first before you jump into the entrepreneurial arena. And so when he told me about that. When I was still young, I couldn't really understand the meaning of it. At the end of it, I realized that he was telling me to gain maturity first before entering the space, because it will be very difficult. So I did first my stint. So after Cal, I went back to the Philippines. I was working in finance companies, and then went to a conglomerate here in the country. And true enough, in my mind, I still really wanted to be an entrepreneur when I hit 34, 35. And by that time, I was thinking that I would have enough network and know enough people to help me in my journey. So whatever that idea will be during that time. So that was pretty much my story. It was leading to that leap of faith, to that certain day when I took that. And it all happened in 2016, and luckily enough, I did it with my siblings. I'm sure a lot of people have asked me, why work with siblings, right? And how is that coming along? Um, in fact, even when we were young, we've always had a great relationship. Nothing really exploded with us siblings, so we've had a harmonious one. And in April, our grandmother, needed help, needed medical attention, and it didn't make sense to carry her, put her in the car, drive in the traffic, go all the way to the hospital just for a regular checkup. And that was a discussion over a family lunch. And during that time, it was the height of Uber, the height of applications for coming in the country, and we said, isn't there an app that we could download and get a doctor just to see grandma quickly? And that's where the idea started. And when we were talking between me and my siblings during the family lunch, my dad was just listening and watching us and slowly holding on to his chair. He felt like I was about to fall off, right? And when I said that, hey guys, if this is something that you want to do with me, then I will resign from my work. And then that's when my dad fell off his chair. And then, but after that day, my dad was our number one supporter. In fact, he's our angel investor. And the journey started there.
That's so cool. Just hearing about the family kind of dynamic and how you all came together. Can you kind of talk a little bit more about that? I think starting businesses with your family members is more common in the Philippines. And I guess, we would like to hear more about kind of the advantages and disadvantages of working with family and how you just kind of, decide like who's going to do what, and how you build a company together. And like you said, I'm sure there are always some challenges that you face together, and how you deal with that.
So first off, it was really a decision for us to work together. So it wasn't like forced, like dad did this business, so you guys have to take on the next generation. So we call it a sibling-run business. It was really our decision to work together. The positions really came about by coming from our own skills. So we're four siblings. I'm the second one. And then Ate Pam, who is our COO, is in charge of operations. Why? Because all her life she was really in operations, and that's the best. She knows that very well. In my side, my skills would be probably in fundraising, finance, and management. So I took the role as CEO. My brother, who is a doctor by education, took the role as chief product officer. So he had to learn the ropes of how to create and design the app, and also how to market in social media. My sister is a teacher, so she's an investor, but not part of the management team. But she's a tech teacher in Vancouver, so we get a lot of information from her too. So she teaches us a lot of things. But at the end, we told ourselves, let's test this co-founder relationship first in 2016. If it does work, then we could progress from there. So in 2016, it was a lot of experimental journey for us. We experimented the app, if it will really work, if this business is really in demand in the country, and also if our relationship is really for it. And we said, let's work first, us three. If we could get to a couple of tractions before we fundraise, then we could say we probably hit the right co-founders. And true enough, we really really started from scratch. We did our own surveys. We asked friends if this will work. And we even went to Mac's restaurant and other Densho's restaurant and just sat there and waited for doctors to come. And we wanted to see if they're actually interested in an application like this. And I remember that we were sitting in Mac's restaurant. The manager wanted to kick us out because he thought it was a scam. We were buying small meals just to let us sit down. And first day, we got no one. No one came. But the next day, three doctors came, and so forth. After 3 months, we got 1,000 doctors that wanted to come on board. So that proved several things. Number one, hey, our relationship is good. We have the dedication to get this through. Number two, the doctors want it. They're finding other ways to earn and serve in the country. Let's go for it. And number three, the next big step, then let's fundraise. There's some traction, some data, we could do this. And it just went on. Now we're in our 5th year. And my relationship with my siblings has been stronger than ever. We're just more dedicated, and it has become a purpose already, rather than that first initial leap of faith.
I kind of just wanted to go take a step back to like your corporate days. How was it like working for, a big conglomerate in the Philippines? And were there times when you were working and you can see like, oh, this can be an opportunity for a startup, or, you know what I mean? Like, especially if you have that very curious, like, mind. And was it the same for your siblings? Did they want to be entrepreneurs like yourself?
I think my entrepreneurial journey really started even before that conglomerate. I was part of a financial consultancy firm, and we would bring companies public. So I would see these entrepreneurs that I idolize, and sitting at the table and just sharing their dream and discussing it with the legal side, with the finance side, and bringing them public. So in my mind, I already wanted to be like them.
Yeah.
That I idolize them so much, how they handle their people and how skilled they are and their mindset. And true enough, these clients of mine back then are now my angel investors and my good friends. I've so it started way back. I really I wanted to build a relationship with them even outside office work. So
Mm-hmm.
I would approach them and say, I want to learn from you. I just want to know your story. And true enough, we just became very close, and they're today my mentors and my very good friends. So that's how my inspiration started. Seeing first from my family, my father-in-law, and then now
Mm-hmm.
from these people who are pretty much a little bit older than me, but are very successful. Um, I was inspired by their journey, and I knew that I wanted to do it, at least try it, at least try it from my end. So that's the reason why I took the leap of faith. For my siblings, yes, they've always wanted to be an entrepreneur too. In fact, my sister Pam, she's a trader. She likes to sell stuff, go abroad, buy stuff, go to America, buy stuff, come back home, try to sell stuff, right? So it's and you could see that I've learned, this is what I've learned throughout the process, is that number one, to be an entrepreneur is really as you have an eye to spot opportunities, but number two, I think more importantly, is that you have the drive and the commitment to even take it to the next level. So and I see it painfully today that it's all about commitment. It won't happen in the first year. It won't happen in the second year. Neither will it happen in the third year. For us, our big inflection point happened during the pandemic, and that was our fourth year.
Mm-hmm.
And we are just so proud that we were able to build something that became even more relevant today. So it's all about commitment.
I think you talk about commitment interestingly, in the sense that some people also look at that as risk taking, right? Like, you were committed enough to take that risk. Was it something you learned in school to, like, be able to take that leap of faith? Is it just like you said, support from your network that said, like, kind of, this is the time that felt right for you to kind of go off on your own and leave kind of that corporate stability? How did you decide, like, that you were gonna take that leap now and not, like, either earlier on or wait until a later point?
So it was really a bet. I didn't know when I would be ready. In fact, my friends were telling me, "You'll never be ready." It's like being a father for the first time. I mean, you were never a father before, right? So I think my turning point in my life would be my wife. So I'm lucky enough that my wife came from a very entrepreneurial side, and when I told her that I want to do this, are you going to support me? I need your support, because if you say no, I'll probably not. I'll just stay in corporate and then work my way up. And she said, we were on a plane, and we were in Singapore, stopover. And and I was waiting for her. She came back with a book, and she put a dedication there saying that I'm excited to be part of the next journey of Paolo, and here's to you to make an impact and a dent in the world. And that alone inspired me to just really jump. And I was so excited to make my resignation letter. So,
That's so
and
sweet.
so having the support of your wife is definitely something, right? So that was my big turning point, because my friends would already be telling me, "Do it, just do it. You have some savings, I'm sure. All you need is to take that first step." And I realized when important decisions happen like that, it's more courage, bravery, rather than intellect that will get you to that first step. Um, and I just did it. I jumped, and I'm still floating in there trying to catch myself, right?
I
um
guess, yeah, we can like talk about the first couple of years of AIDE, like maybe the pre-pandemic years, and like, what were the struggles? Were you guys testing features, like pivoting, raising money. Can you talk us about your experience those first few years?
Yeah, so the first few years would be a roller coaster ride of emotions, of whatever you call it. So I was, first of all, I was so excited to be an entrepreneur, right? Yes, I have my full control of my time.
Yeah, you quit.
I
You
quit,
made the
right?
jump.
Yeah, here's me. All right, I'm now gonna create my own business. Let's go for it. But in my mind, I was thinking, if it doesn't work, I'll just go back.
Yeah.
I'll just go back to corporate, right? So that's pretty much my option B, if you call it.
There's a safety net in a way.
There's a safety net, correct? So 2016, and then of course I checked my cash, right? So how long can I stretch this before I go broke? And so 2016, we were really studying. We did surveys. We did. We experimented so much, and we created the app, allows the version 1, just to get it out. But really, that version 1 was just more for us to get more information. If what does the user want? Who would be our users? And is this really worth pursuing? We put up that app in January of 2017. So 2016 product dev, 2017 up with 1,000 doctors on board. I even have a photo. I was looking at the dashboard, 0 requests. Next day, 0 requests. I go, okay. After a month, 2. What the hell's happening, right? How do we get this to? How do we market this to our users? So we did the usual social media, but it still wasn't getting off. And our in fact, we even did animal care, because our users were asking, "Do you have vets that can come to the house?" Okay, so that sparked an idea. We started calling to all the vets in our street. Right? They said, "Can we get you on board?" And all of them said, "Yes, sure." I mean, there's no financial obligation, there's no subscription fee, just get on the platform. So we were able to get them on board. But the problem happens that, so users were booking them, and then the vets would tell them, "Can you just bring your doctor to our clinic?" Oh my goodness! So it totally defeats the entire thesis of being cared to your home, right? So we put that on hold. And then all of a sudden, we had a celebrity that used our nursing care for her newborn. And she enjoyed the experience so much that she shared it in Instagram. That was in October of 2017. Because of that share, because of her testimonial, it created so much buzz for us, word of mouth, 300, 400 new signups each day. And true enough, nursing care was our #1 service back then. And it just took off from there. And then that's when the other investors started to call us, because they would see AIDE already in social media. We would already be part of pitching events. I joined all the pitching events. Just to let you know, almost everything, right?
All the startup weekends.
All the startup weekends, whatever you call it, I was there, pitching and pitching, and losing, by the way. So we would always get to the final, final round, but never would get the pot. But at least that created a lot of noise that there's AIDE. And then investors started to come slowly, talk to us. And that's where the magic all happened. And then we got a big investor that came in, supported us even further. And we did version 2, version 3, and a lot more. So a lot more challenges along the way. It wasn't over. It's not over yet, right?
You actually bring up an interesting point. You said you joined like almost every challenge that you could. And is that something that you would actually recommend to startups, new startups now? And like, what did you learn from those experiences to keep you kind of still going and is it just practice? Practice makes perfect kind of thing. Or is it also just the network, right? Like you're putting your name out there by being out there, regardless of whether you win or not. Yeah. What was all of that experience like?
It was really more for the network and learning this new ecosystem.
Right.
I was telling other people would tell me, but Pao, you're gonna share your idea. It's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an idea. It's still an idea. I mean, if I don't get there quick enough, somebody else will do it. So I wasn't scared of somebody getting the idea. In fact, um, it boils down to execution. But for me, during that time, I need to see who's out there. I need to know the people around the startup ecosystem that can help us take this to the next level. So I joined every pitching contest, and they loved AIDE joining those pitching contests because I guess AIDE being a B2C platform was a fun, great idea, right? Easy to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty much straightforward, right? And true enough, today, um, uh, it's we're all growing together. In fact, a lot of things have happened to AIDE in the past year or so, and they all came to me and actually gave me encouragement. Other founders pushed me and they helped me, saying that they even told me, "Hey, you were my inspiration back in 2017." Really? Like, really? What did I do, right? Uh, um, and even the other like Kubo and other accelerators out there, full support because we're all growing together. So it boils down to network, and I'm very grateful to all of them. So I guess going back, it's also about integrity, showing your sincerity and in wanting to solve a real problem. That alone will create long-lasting relationships in the entire